Yeah, that was a lot of information. I learned quite a bit. You and I don't talk enough.
I
Uh,
know.
so yeah, there's a lot of cool things in there that I didn't know.
Well,
So that was awesome.
thank you. Thank you. Well, thank you all. I wish you the best, and anything that you need, just feel free to give me a call.
Yeah, we'll do. We'll let you get back to your day, and then with that, I will switch over to our next speaker. We're running ahead of schedule, which is good, which means you guys can get back to your afternoons. But next is one of my favorite ladies here. She'd already hopped on to talk with Chris. But it's Kristen Mitchell with Youth Futures. Um, it is a statewide organization. They run 3 youth homeless shelters across the state, St. George, Cedar, and Ogden. I do serve on their board. And it's an organization that I absolutely appreciate the work that they do. So when I worked with them to open in Cedar, I didn't realize that someone that I'd actually end up knowing would end up using the facilities. I had a kid that I coached in soccer that ended up there through some different difficulties, and it's just has raved about his experience, and they do great work. So I'll let her talk a little bit about what they do as an organization, how you can help, and how it kind of ties into what we do. So thanks, Kristen.
Yeah, hi everybody, and thank you for having me today, Derek. I also have Heidi Rugg on with us here. Heidi is our state programs manager, so she covers all of the program in the entire state. I may need to have her jump in on a few things. Just to let you know, I am losing my voice a little bit and we'll be having surgery next week. So she's here to kind of spell me if I need to be spelled. So I'm the executive director and the founder. My husband Scott and I started Youth Futures in 2014. We spent about 6 years prior to that planning and evaluating and doing a lot of work to get Youth Futures ready to come on board. I just want to give a little bit of history about our facilities. When we were starting doing the research of getting Youth Futures together, we found out that there was a law in place called harboring a minor that actually prohibited youth shelters from opening in our state and prohibited anyone in the state from harboring or giving shelter to a youth. And so we spent quite a bit of time, several years, working, advocating with the legislators to change that harboring a minor statute to add a licensing component. And then they also added some reporting factors to that law. So once we passed that law, that went into effect in 2014. That allowed us to become the first in the state to be licensed for temporary homeless youth shelter. We're a residential support facility. We also hold an outpatient treatment license. So basically, we are licensed to harbor a minor now in our state. So in 2015, February of 2015, we opened our first shelter in Ogden. And if you'll, Sarah, put that slide on that has the pictures of the houses, I'll just talk about what we do across the state. So Ogden was our first facility open, and we call them shelter homes. We run our facilities like a house. We want our kids to be comfortable and feel like they're at home when they don't have a home to go to. So you can see all of our facilities are converted homes, which is one of the things that Derek kind of wanted me to talk about a little bit. So our first building in Ogden, we bought broken windows, booted in doors, and we rehabbed the building. And that was really an effort through the Ogden community that really came together to believe in what we were doing to help youth. And the community just came together and really helped us to renovate this building. It took us about 8 months once we bought the building to get ready to open and get licensed. It was an absolutely great project. We did everything in the building. We went from new carpet, we added pantry, we painted the entire building, we fixed the windows and the doors and really modified it. There's certain licensing components that are required, so we had to add some different things to meet our licensing requirements, which was really awesome. And it was great to have the community support to come in and help us do that. So then in 2018, we opened in St. George after we were invited to come to the community to discuss youth shelter by the homeless liaison and the chair of the Youth Services Coalition in Washington County. We came in and we did the same thing. We bought a home. Luckily, this one's a little bit larger, about 2,000 square feet more than our Ogden building. We came in, we also modified this building, painted, put in new carpeting, new flooring. We also added ADA to the building. We added fire sprinklers to comply with the fire suppression needed for licensing. And we also have a small admin building that's right next door to this, so we have a little bit of extra space. So we opened in October of 2018 in St. George. And then, thank you, Derek. Derek did the same thing, contacted me. The Peggy Green, some of you may know her from the Karen Share, she was the executive director there, and some other community members also invited us to come in and talk to them about how we opened Ogden and then St. George, and talk to them about the need that was in Cedar City for kiddos. It was really awesome. The building that we have our shelter in actually came on the market very shortly after the other building, which is across the street from it, which is our transition living program. But we also did the same thing with those buildings. We came in, we modified the buildings. These two were in certainly better condition than the other two to start with. We did have to make some modifications to make it shelter. And then the building right across the street, for our first program and a new program for us, we opened transitional living for youth ages 16 to 22. So all of our facilities, Ogden and St. George, both have 16 beds, and they serve youth ages 12 to 18. Also right now, because of winter response, we're taking kids up to age 19. And then in Cedar City, we have 12 beds in our shelter and an amazing opportunity to have 9 units of transitional living for kids ages 16 up to 22. Let's see, what else do I want to tell you guys about what we do? As far as sheltering youth, we generally see kids around the ages of 17. That's our average age. So kids who are transitioning to adulthood, really. They've come to a point with their families where they have reached sort of this crossroads where they're either not getting along with family or family has kicked them out. So that 17 and 18 age range is really the kiddos that we're working with, which means that we work really hard on transitioning kids to be adults. And we're working on preventing kids from falling into the homeless adult system. Really, everything we do is prevention. We want to keep kids off the street. We're hoping that our facilities across the state are in the forefront of these kids' mind. We do community outreach all across the state. We want Youth Futures logo to be front and center. It's the first thing they think of when they've left home, they run away, they get kicked out, whatever reason they've left the safe place or maybe the unsafe place that they're living, staying. To be really honest, sometimes squatting, living in caves and storage sheds and staying with friends. So whatever place they have left, we don't want them to land on the streets. So the goal is to keep every single kid off the streets and then help them to become sustainable and get back on their feet before they reach adulthood and not have to go into an adult homeless shelter or an adult homeless situation. Derek wanted me to talk a little bit about our transitional living. Sarah, if you want to move to one of those pictures, that's the building across the street from, yeah. So this building, like I said, it has 9 units of transitional living. Each one is set up so the kids are semi-independent. Because our shelter's right across the street, it means we have an amazing opportunity for staffing, where our staff from the shelter can also assist with the kids that are living in our units here. So our kids at our transitional living program, they are learning how to pay their rent, how to be great renters, how to do all the things that they haven't learned from their parents. So they might need to learn how to change a tire or cook or grocery shop or apply for a job. So really what Youth Futures does is help these kids. They get up to 24 months of time in our transitional living program that they can really set up their own personal plan for what skills they need to become successful, contributing, great renters, and also not fall into the homeless system. This has been a really great addition, and we really need this transitional living to be attached to our other programs in Ogden and St. George, because when we are trying to house a kid coming out of shelter, especially if they haven't turned 18 yet, there are almost no opportunities. Even when they have turned 18, we get them on housing lists and we try to help them get into housing. But really our goals long-term are to have transitional units on both the north end and the south end of the state to accompany our shelter programs, to give us that additional time. Some of these kids they're just going to need extra time. Some kids, they are ready to go. We can get them on their own, sustainable. Our number one goal is to reunify families. So about 60 some percent of the kids that come through our shelters are actually reunified back home with either family or kinship. So that would be, we're going to look for a family member, an aunt, an uncle, a grandma, even if they're not in Utah, to help reunify them and connect them back with family, because we know that is really the best opportunity for kids. But I know all of you are in the housing industry and have units. And so I think it was really awesome that Derek let us come and tell you guys about what we do, and just put that out there into the universe that Youth Futures is providing an amazing service to our state and especially our Cedar City, Iron County communities. And if there's anything any of you would like to get involved with or assist in helping us find other housing opportunities for kids on both ends of the state, that would be fabulous. We also have plenty of ways to donate and events that you can attend. Let's see, what else? Derek, Heidi. Oh, Safe Place. Yeah, let me talk about Safe Place a little bit. So Youth Futures is a safe place agency, and all across the state, we have set up locations that are called Safe Place sites. And what Safe Place does is it partners with a local business, say a Maverick gas station or a Lynn's grocery store, and they become a safe place, and their staff put up these signs, and they understand that if a kid walks in the door to any one of these businesses across the state, they can walk in, tell the staff that they need a safe place, and they will call us. We will go transport the kid, help them get a safe place, and figure out their situation. So you might see these safe place signs around the community. We are fairly new to Cedar City, and so this is a new program for the area. And we're working on getting Safe Place set up. So if you are a business or you know a business who we can connect with, please reach out to us and let us know, and we will go connect with them. I believe, Derek, you're a safe place now.
Working on it.
Working on it. So that's another awesome opportunity for the community and just another way to help kids be able to find a safe place. We're meeting with UTA this next week. That's the Transit Authority in Salt Lake area, well, Northern Utah area, to have the buses become all safe place locations. Next, we'll start working with the Washington County Transportation Sun Tran, I believe it's called, to see if we can get them safe place also. Questions about safe place, questions about sheltering. I went through really quick what we do. There's a lot of details I'd be happy to answer. If there's any other specific housing questions y'all have, please let me know. Derek, what else do you want me to talk about?
I think you pretty much covered it. It's yeah. Well, if you want to kind of go through how many youth you've served last year and just kind of some of those numbers real quick.
Yeah, sure. So we serve about 850 kids a year across the state. So our programs are divided into overnight shelter. We do drop-in services during the day from 6 a.m. to 8 p.m. So that means a kiddo can come in to our buildings. They can access everything that a shelter youth might. What we have found is that a lot of kids, it takes some time to build that rapport. They want to come in, test the waters, see what it's like. They might not disclose that they're homeless or they need help right away, but we are open doors and they can just come in and ask for anything that they need. We have a resource room where they can shop and get clothing and shampoo and shoes and underwear and literally anything that they could possibly imagine. We have case management services. We have access to 3 meals a day, 2 snacks. They can take a food box. We have Wi-Fi, laundry services. So basically anything that a kiddo could need, they can come in during drop-in. And obviously what we're going to do when they're in drop-in is we're going to try to identify those kiddos who don't have a safe place to sleep tonight and then intake them to shelter. Once a kiddo leaves and discharges from shelter, we do an aftercare program where we follow them and stay connected with them for a minimum of 6 months. A lot of our kids do stay connected for much longer, because we want to make sure that wherever they're housed and whether they go back home, that they remain stable, that they have their needs met. And if that means that all the community resources that have been provided to us, like shampoo and clothing, we can help provide that to them until they're fully can sustain that themselves. We want to give all of those things to them. So 6 months of aftercare, and then we do community outreach and a little bit of street outreach. These days, we don't do as much street outreach. We do it more by referral. So the organizations that are on the street, if they find a youth, they can call us and refer us, and we can go out and meet with the kid and hopefully encourage them to come back to shelter. We also do a ton of community outreach. We do third-party events. So if you're an organization that would like to put on an event for us, we have a couple of community outreach coordinators that can help facilitate an event to put on to benefit us. And we have an event every year we call the Utah Sleep Out, where we sleep outside in the cold in November for one night to raise money so that youth don't have to sleep out. These pictures are the pictures of inside our transitional living program. Quick note about these. We initially thought we were going to come in and, tear all of these, the really pretty rooms out and make them super teenage fun. And we decided to see kind of an experiment to see if we left the really nice rooms pretty close to the way they are, to see if that brought a little bit more respect, and the kids treated the units better. And I think we have definitely found out that they even though they don't seem super kid friendly, they really do like the decor that's in the room. So that was fun. Derek, what was the other thing?
I think you kind of covered it where you went over numbers and all of that. So anyone have any other questions or anything for Kristen or? Okay. Well, thank you, Kristen and Heidi, for your 2-word input. That's what Heidi's good for. She'll just interject on occasion.